Welcome back everyone. Now we finished our travelling for a while, it's about time I did some work on the Land Rover. She's got some leaking fuel injectors, so I've been putting stuff together before I tackle the resealing them, getting the kit together. Let me show you. Now this is the gear I've got together. The first thing I'm going to do before I do the injectors, I'm actually going to change the fuel filter. Just as well do it as I'm going to have a probably an air leak or an air lock in the system anyway to pull through. So I've got the hand pump to do that, and I'll change the fuel filter to start with. I've made this little bits of cardboard, a few toilet roll holders, so when I take the jets out I know which ones are which, because starting from the engine it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 towards the bulkhead, so I can actually put the injectors in because they must go back in the same holes they come out with. I've got a new gasket for the rocker cover, I've got the new bungs, I've got the new sealing washers, and I've got new bolts to hold the clamps down. They are genuine parts. I've got reseating tools. I have grease to go on the end of the reseating tool to stop the bits of aluminium or any crap that I take off dropping down inside the cylinder, because aluminium don't compress very well. And I've got the brake cleaner to clean the jets off. I've got my tools, 2 rolls of tool bags. Let's give it a go. And here's where the fuel filter is on a Land Rover. It's inside the rear wheel arch. Easy to get to. You got this cover, only has one little bolt which goes in there, then the whole cover comes off. One thing I did notice while I was here, I have play in the rear drive shaft. You can hear it knock, you can feel it when you're driving along. Behind here is the splines. This piece here is separate to this piece here, so there's play between the two, and also on the end of the drive shaft in the diff you will get movement, but I think most of my movement, as you can see, is here. With what you can buy, which will be my next job, is you can get one piece heavy duty, this and this all in one piece, so the whole lot just comes out and slides in, so you do away with this joint between these splines. So that'll be my next job. I'll put that on the list. But now I've got to get this filter off. I'm going to fill it up with the new one with oil, put it back in and do it up, and hopefully, because I filled it up with the diesel, I shouldn't have any airlock inside, which means when I start the engine I shouldn't have too many problems drawing fuel through. Well, we'll give it a go. So that's the new one in place, filled it up. It's easy enough. I just pumped some diesel straight out of a can, this one here, into the top of the filter, filled it right up, had my little catch can underneath to catch any drips, put it back on. So now we're going to see if the engine starts up and she runs okay, and then we can start on the jets. Well, she's been running now for about 2 minutes. We don't have any leak from the fuel filter. She's ticking over nicely, and we don't have any issues with the engine running. So filling the fuel filter up with diesel before you install it definitely works. Well, you might be interested in the exact condition of the fuel that came out of the old fuel filter. As you know, we did 6,500 miles through 10 odd countries, filled up numerous times. There is some contaminant in there, but there is nowhere near as much as I thought there would be. So maybe fuel isn't as contaminated as people make out to be. Now I'm going to actually start on the jets. I've taken up the 2 bolts. I'm going to start taking the head off. Start undoing all these pipes. I'll show you that later on. You don't want to see me actually doing that. I've actually made a cover above me today because it's supposed to be 30 degrees. Got the bonnet all covered and the wings, so I shouldn't have anything scratches on the bodywork. Let me get on with it. That's the cover off. These are the actual injectors that I think are leaking in there, and they're leaking inside the top of the head here, and that's what's pushing oil. So I'm going to undo them, take these pipes off, which are the fuel pipes, disconnect all the electrical connections. I've got two clamps, one here and one here. For some reason, Land Rover, seeing their wisdom, that they use one bolt and one clamp to hold two injectors down. Bit of a rubbish design, but there again, that's Land Rover. So let me get on with it, and I'll show you what it's like in a minute when I've taken one of the injectors out. This is the wiring harness for the injectors. It's just taking that off. A little bit stiff. That's them out of the way. Use the top of the injectors clear. I'll undo this harness all the way around. Get that out of the way. Yeah, tuck that out of the way there. Save it getting damaged. Now I can get on with the return pipes. This is the fuel return pipes here. Back to the tank. Got to be careful with these because these are really brittle. Figure out how to pop them off. It's gone. Now let's have a look at that, see how they come off. Well, I figured out how to get these return pipes off of the injectors. There's a tiny little clip just here which you pull out, and then the injector pops back out. Be careful, because I pulled this one so bloody hard it disappeared down in there, and I just spent the last half hour magnetizing my screwdriver to fish around until I could pull it out. So be warned, don't pull so bloody hard like I did. Now, I'll carry on and take off the return pipes. Well, that's the return pipes out of the way. Finally got all them off. Now I'm going to start tuck them out of the way. Right, now I'm going to start undoing the unions here, undoing them from the rail. This is a high pressure rail where a high pressure pump pumps the fuel, which then goes into the injectors. It does say use a crowfoot spanner on these. I haven't got one, so it's a 17mm spanner. We'll just see how tight they are. Oh, well, that wasn't too bad at all. So we'll undo all of these, take all these pipes off, both sides, and then we can take the injectors out. They do say about not using these again and buying new ones, but they seem okay on the ends. They seem well seated and they're not rusty. So I'm going to go and see if I can reuse them again, just to keep the costs down. I think this is the first time they've ever been undone since they were put in the factory. Yeah, these are fairly easy to take off. So I'm going to undo all these, take these out of the way. Obviously there's no pressure left in them because the engine's been switched off for a day or two. So the fuel pressure's come down out the rail. There, just a little bit of fuel left in them. Easy enough. Right, I'll carry on and take all those off. And then we'll move on to the next part of the job.
I will cover all these holes up in a minute, just to make sure we don't have any dirt going in them. Last thing we want to do is to clean all the seals of reseat down and let a piece of grey dirt going through.
And lastly, this one. This is the feed into the rail. That bolt was tighter than the rest. As you can see, it's actually taken the bolt out, not the nut off. There. Right, I'm going to now take off the rubber all around. I am going to take the top off the cover because I have got a new gasket to go underneath, and as I'm already this far in, I just will replace the gasket. Right then, well, then done all the bolts around the top and done the two bolts to hold these two clamps in. I pulled the injector out, so now it releases the other clamp from holding this one in, which is really wobbly as well, and that one, and that one. As you can see by the oil on them, it was definitely leaking by. We'll definitely have a problem down there where oil is leaking past the seals and it's dripping down. So, as well as dripping down, it's allowing pressure back out the cylinder up into the head. So I'll clean this up and we'll fit all new bungs in. I'll clean it all up inside and we'll reseat these. But there, for a complete novice so far, I haven't done too bad. A bit ham-fisted and losing parts. It's gradually getting there. Let's crack on with the next lot. But there we go, there we go. Got them all out. And as you can see from there, every one of them was leaking. So oil was dripping down through into the cylinder. None of them are sealed. As you can see by some of the spray patterns, especially around here, look, where it's so clean, the amount of pressure that was coming back up, which is why when I undone the top of the oil filler cap, it would spray oil straight up out this filler cap because of the pressure that was building up in here. So I've got a gasket for here. This is the plastic top. I'll take that out, clean it all up, put a new gasket in, reseat all the seals, and then we'll see if the injectors everything's okay. I just hope that my problem is just injector seal. And we'll find out when I've redone it. Now to clean it all up. Well, this is the bores where the injectors came out of, down through there. very dirty. So what I'm going to do, before I start prodding around and cleaning it up with a rag around them, what I've done, an attachment from the vacuum. Taking the hose, take the smaller hose inside that one, and then a smaller hose inside that one, and it's this rubber hose I will put down inside with the vacuum going to suck all the dirt and the crap out of it before I pull the washer back out. It's connected to my jackery, so I got outside power, and that's my next job. Let's clean them all up. Well, let's have a look now, shall we? It's definitely cleaner down in there now. Now I don't mind putting a rag down to clean up the last little bits, but there's nothing that can drop inside the cylinders now. So I'll clean that up. Well, that's the bottom of the bores for the seals to sit on, all cleaned up. What I'll do now is I've got a special tool, see if you can see it. It's a reamer, and what I'll do is I'll just gently lower it down to the bottom of the bore, just gently turn it, because all I want is I just want to make a nice seat for the new copper washer to sit on. So you don't want to take too much of the metal out from the engine, and to stop any bits actually falling down inside the cylinder when I'm doing it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it in some grease on the ends of the tips, so anything that I do take off or any crap that comes out will actually stick to the grease. Let's give it a go and we'll see if we can clean these bores up, and then we can concentrate then on cleaning up the injectors. It gently does it. I'm not applying any pressure at all, just letting the tool's weight do the cutting. Only a little bit on the end. Looks okay. I'll carry on with the rest of them. Perfect. What I'll do now is put the rag down, vacuum, clean them all back out again. Then we'll concentrate on the injectors themselves. Well, they're all cleaned up now, as you can see. Nice and clean at the bottom, nice and flat. So hopefully the copper washer will sit nice and tight at the bottom of the bore. Every one of them done, all nice and flat. Right, next thing to do now is I'm going to go and clean the fuel injectors off themselves, and then we can refit them. Luckily for me that the all the copper washers are still stuck to the bottom of the injectors. There's all the copper washers still attached to the bottom of the injectors. So I'll take them off, we'll clean these injectors up, put new washers on, we'll put new seals on the top of the cover in here. I'm taking the old ones off. It's all cleaned up. I'll put new seals in there, and then we can put it all back together. Well, I've started to take the washer off this first injector, and you can see the gunk that's behind it. And when I take the washer off, you can see where it was blowing by. You can see the black deposits. It hasn't, well, it's seated, but it started to leak past. So I'm suspecting they're all going to be like that with the amount of rubbish that was coming up through this bore. So we'll give it have a look and clean them all up. That's all the tips cleaned up. All the washer's been taken off. It's this surface I'm worried about. This is what you've got to get clean. You've got to worry about the tip. It's just this surface here at the bottom of this nut. Whatever you do, do not put a wire brush on these tips, and otherwise you will ruin them and you'll be in for a complete set of new injectors. And they're not the cheapest things going. So yeah, so I've just cleaned up the mating surface where the washer's going to sit on, as you can see. And what I'll do is I'll put a dab of grease on the new washers. Here they are, genuine ones. Put a dab of grease on them, that way they'll stick to the bottom, so when I lower them down the hole they don't drop off. And then we can put the clamps back on and let's reassemble. Excuse the noise difference, the wind's built up and the cover above us is flapping a bit. I've got the top engine cover on now. I'm ready to put the injectors in. I've got my grease, so I'm going to stick the copper washers on. There's the copper washers, so I'll stick them on the end as in the picture, and then I will just gently lower them down and seat them in the bottom, and then put the clamps on. So we're well on the way. Right, let's put these washers on. Get a bit of grease to make it stick. Double check. Yeah, that's staying there. Put a little bit of grease around the shoulder as it goes through the new rubber seal. And this is number 1, and we'll make sure it goes in number 1. Just making sure it's sticking on before I push it down. And that's that one in there. Now I'll carry on with number 2.
A little bit of grease again. New washer on. These are a very tight fit. So we go, a bit on the shoulder. And number 2. Number 2 then.
Right, I'll put the clamp between them. Or should I have put this in first? I'm Might have put this in first. Make sure the washer stood on there, yeah. So, that'll be interesting. I see. There. That's it. 8mm bolt back in the hole.
I'll carry on with the next two.
Well, that's all the jets are in and they're clamped in place. I will now put the fuel lines back on and it'll be time to finish torquing the bolts up. There, that's them in position. I can click all these back in now. And then I can put the fuel return pipes back on. And I'll put the clips on then after. I'll keep them all in. And then we'll start it up. Let's see if we got any leaks. There, back together. I'll tighten them all up and then we'll start up and see how we are. Now she did fire up, no problems at all, but the noise and the problem I had with the oil coming out of the oil filler cap was still there. I don't know what it is. If any of you have any ideas, leave me some answers in the comments below. Hope you like the channel, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you could please to the channel because it does help. And I'm just going to take her off to the garage.